Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be doing a pick a card today, and we have two piles to choose from. We're going to take a look at your person and how they see you and how you're seeing and feeling for your person. So after that, we will get into some tarot and some hidden traumas that your person may or may not be aware of that's kind of impeding the connection, and then a hidden trauma that may be hidden to both of you guys that might be impacting the connection. And we'll get some tarot to see which way the connection is headed between you two. Now, when we are doing this reading, you will notice that you'll either resonate with one side of the pile or with the other. You can very well be resonating with both. Just means that you and your person may be mirroring each other. If you can't determine, which one is your person, just eliminate the one that seems more like yourself, and chances are the other pile is speaking about the person. Now, if it comes up that you start sensing or picking up an energy of a different individual than the one you initially thought this reading was about, it's clearly a message from the higher spirit for you to take a listen to today. Now, if none of it resonates, then you might want to move to, the other pile that you didn't pick, or just go to a whole new reading altogether, and maybe this isn't your reading. So we have these two piles to choose from today. Pile number one, you have the brass skeleton key, and you have this cylindrical selenite. Okay, and then for pile number two, you have this pointed tower amethyst. And you have this very light cylindrical black stone. Now, I believe this might be hematite. It's very grounding. All right, when I was recording earlier today, I was mentioning how this is a very light stone, but instead of saying light, I said this is a very heavy stone. And I wanted to see if that comes up in the reading somewhere where we are picking up maybe an opposite character, or someone's maybe seeing someone in a different perspective than what the actual reality of the situation might be. So anyway, we'll do some charms as well at the end. So if you want, you can certainly, skip to the pile that you are most feeling drawn to, and we will get started. Okay, hi pile one. We're just going to move pile two out of the way right now. Actually, I'm going to put that right there. And we're going to keep pile one. Okay, so pile one, I did pre-shuffle these cards. We're going to do a mix of Oracle and a mix of tarot. And if you skip the intro, I just wanted to make mention that the reading is going to be about you and the individual or your other person that you are thinking of. And if you are picking up another energy of someone else in your life, then it may be a message coming through from that individual. You may resonate with both sides of the piles, or the characteristics on both sides, but one may resonate a lot more with you. If you are seeing yourself in both sides, it could very well mean that you are mirroring your person, and it's quite all right. But if you're having a difficult time trying to identify which one is your person, just eliminate the pile that you resonate most with. The side, that you resonate with most, and then you'll know that the other side is your person. So you could be either A or B, and then we'll also be doing some traumas or some past experiences, maybe in a past life or in this lifetime, that may be causing a challenge within this connection. And we'll also do some tarot to see where this connection's headed. We'll pull some messages from your person, from their higher self, and then we'll also be picking some charms. So we do have quite a bit going on. So first of all, I'm going to lay these cards down. So we have person A. Okay. And we've got person B. Okay. I might have to rearrange these two I'm picking up. We'll know when I see them. And then we'll save the tarot for a little later. Okay, so for the two energies here, we have the Phoenix person for person A, and we've got the Nightingale for person B. Okay, so these animal energies are going to represent the energy that you and your person are currently encompassing. And if you are resonating with one more than the other, then just take note that that is you. So you can either be A or you can be B, and that your person would be the other side. Also, you know, you want to make sure that if you are seeing yourself in neither pile, that you check out pile number 2, because there may be something in there that might resonate with you. Okay, so the Phoenix card really speaks about an individual who has really gone through the ringer. This individual is really persevering right now in their lifetime. They are opening up to the higher spirit and really connecting to their spiritual side. Now, I'm also picking up that this person hasn't always been connected to their spiritual side. This is something fairly new for this individual. Their third eye is opening, and they are rising from the circumstance of life that has really been challenging for this person. And that's really what's encompassing their life right now and their main focus and priority. Whereas the Nightingale individual is, I'm picking up a very artistic individual, but this Nightingale knows how to articulate themselves very well. They may also be a pretty powerful individual. Now, when I say powerful, doesn't necessarily mean that they're like a CEO of a company or anything like that, but this person commands the respect of many people. They can use their words to really get what it is that they want, but they aren't very much aware that that is how other individuals see them. And they also don't use their words in any way that they don't mean. So when they are, you know, just singing or speaking, and I get the sense this person loves to sing, they are just speaking from a genuine place, and it's very graceful. And most people just sense that this person is very, very genuine. So it also means that these two, as you can see, obviously a phoenix would be, you know, wings, rising, air, and then the Nightingale, air as well. So when you talk about an air sign, you're looking at a Gemini, you're looking at a Libra. Personalities coming through quite strong here. And you can also sense that these two individuals have much respect for each other. Okay, so I see that the Nightingale person is really calling to the Phoenix right now, because the Nightingale person feels as though they are able to show the Phoenix person maybe an easier way, or a path, a healing path to go through, and the Phoenix person is just not listening. Now, not because they don't trust the Nightingale, but the Phoenix person is just had this explosion of what they're doing, what they're pushing through is just going to land wherever it lands, and they're just expanding themselves spiritually and physically, just going after, you know, their desires, what it is that they want in life at this time. Whereas the Nightingale person is very much wanting to have the Phoenix maybe have an easier route, maybe knows an easier way to kind of maybe manage or handle some of the healing that this Nightingale person is witnessing the Phoenix go through. So yeah, so those are two personalities. If you're resonating with either one side, then that's great. You can resonate with one or the other, but one's going to be more you than the other side for sure. And we're gonna read now how the Phoenix person is feeling and how the Nightingale person is feeling. Okay, and right now the Phoenix person is very determined, like I mentioned, and you can see how the yellow here kind of coordinates with the yellow in the background here where the Phoenix is rising up to. They're very determined for their path. You know, they might be close to the mountains, or they might be a very grounded type person. The sun might be significant as well in this connection. You can see that the Phoenix person is just very, very determined to get to where they want to be. And I'm sensing this is more of a happiness that this Phoenix person wants to reach, a level of higher self, and they really just want to ascend spiritually to find their higher self and be at peace with situations and stuff that have happened in the past and kind of put it behind them. So they're really in the process of rising up from the turmoil. And here, the Nightingale, you see that they're feeling frustration. So the frustration, I sense a lot of the frustration is definitely due to the fact that the Nightingale person is wanting the Phoenix person to trust them, that they understand what the Phoenix person is going through, and that what they're telling them they should do is the right or easiest thing to do, or the easiest path to go to, and they don't feel like the Phoenix person is listening to them or even caring what it is that they're saying. And because this Nightingale person is used to people listening to them when they speak, because they are very powerful, and when they say something, usually people respect them and do what they say, the Phoenix person is not. So this Nightingale person is feeling that frustration, you know, and they're really kind of not understanding why, if the Phoenix person trusts them, why they're giving them such a hard time, and why they're not even just trying it kind of their way. Okay, so now the next card here is how the other person thinks that the other person is feeling. Okay, so we got, sorry, I'm just going to fix these cards. We're going to move the tarot over here. Okay, so energy on the side of the Phoenix means that the Nightingale thinks and sees that the Phoenix person is feeling energetic, that they see the energy coming from the phoenix. So the energy piece would make sense with the phoenix because they're very determined and they're just going full force. So I'm not, and we might get here, but I'm not seeing why the nightingale, seeing this energy, this very high intense energy, is frustrated or wanting the phoenix to change course. Now, I am picking up from spirit now actually that the nightingale is saying because there's a lot of energy spent going in circles or trying something that they feel is not going to be healthy or work for the phoenix. Whatever the phoenix is doing to help heal, the nightingale saying that is not going to work. They're very adamant that that's not going to work. So all this energy is like spinning around, and they can see spinning wheel, and they're getting frustrated with the burning of the energy that this phoenix person is doing. Okay, whereas the phoenix person is thinking and feeling that the nightingale person, just going to tuck this in here, that the nightingale person is feeling confidence. Okay, so this nightingale person is obviously doing a pretty decent job in hiding their frustration, because the phoenix person just sees the confidence coming from that nightingale person. The nightingale person, like I mentioned, is a very powerful person, so they do exude confidence in themselves, and I think that's part of the reason why the phoenix person is very drawn to the nightingale. The nightingale is also very graceful, also picking up, like I said, a singer, very artistic and very graceful, but full of confidence. So there's like these two coexisting ways about the nightingale person that is very attractive to the phoenix, because they are very small, I'm sensing, or at least dainty. And I mean, it can definitely be a masculine energy, but I'm picking up a feminine energy here. I'm sensing a lot of viewers here may be resonating with the nightingale, but I mean, the other half may be resonating with the phoenix. But I am picking up like a more of a feminine energy here with the nightingale, and because they are, you know, dainty, but they're strong and they're very powerful and they're confident, which, you know, usually you would attribute to more of a masculine type figure, and the phoenix is very drawn to that about the nightingale. So that's an idea of how these two individuals are feeling. And now, how does the phoenix person, or sorry, this is how the nightingale sees the phoenix, and this card here is how the phoenix sees the nightingale. Let's put these. Okay. So the nightingale sees the phoenix person as a polar bear, and it says here, stand up for yourself and speak your truth respectively, compassionately, with no attachment to outcome. Okay, and the phoenix sees the nightingale as a spider, which says trust the creative spark you're feeling and express it through written stories that inspire and enlighten. So the polar bear gives off a very pure energy. So the polar bear is very pure, very very truthful, very calm, and very much safe. So the nightingale feels very safe with the polar bear. They feel like the polar bear is very much an energy that is grounded and is able to stand up for themselves, and is a very pure heart, which is why the nightingale is attracted to the phoenix person, and that's how they see them. The phoenix sees the nightingale as a spider. So a spider in this case is very creative. So the spider person is able to, you know, create their own way through life and really is a thinker, very smart, is able to go through life with kind of more strategic, and and really be in control of their environment and what it is that they kind of want. They're able to go for it and kind of have what it is that they set their mind to. But I'm really picking up that creative side or energy that's really the Phoenix is seeing in this spider person. Again, I'm still thinking it's probably someone who speaks very eloquently. Maybe they give speeches somewhere, or they sing. They're very artistic is what I'm picking up here. Okay. So now we're gonna go into the past life or current life, but maybe earlier traumas that are impacting the connection. So for the Phoenix person, this is the hidden trauma from past life, and this is the maybe known trauma that the Nightingale or the Phoenix person is aware of. So it could very well be that the Phoenix person is not aware. Just hold on one moment. Okay, sorry about that. So the authority figures is the past life or current life trauma that's hidden to the Phoenix person that may impact this connection that they're not aware of. And the vows here is either a past life or an existing lifetime of a past trauma that is known to either the Phoenix or the Nightingale that is impacting this connection. So we'll start with the known trauma, so vows. So it could very well be that this Phoenix person has had a past life or an existing life where they took a vow either as a person of power, could very well be even a doctor taking some sort of, an oath, a vow where they're committed to a greater cause. And now in this connection, this Phoenix person is unable to understand why it is that when they have a commitment to to something that they are driven by, they don't really let anyone or anything change their mind, or they're not very open, what I'm picking up, to another perspective or another way to maybe handle a situation, because they feel very strongly with the vows that they've made in previous life. So it could even leave that Phoenix person maybe a little bit stuck in their way or their mindset, which the Nightingale person is definitely seeing. But whether they're aware of the fact that the Phoenix might have had a past life or have had maybe a past marriage or a relationship where they've already committed to another individual and have this attachment or this promise made out there that they're still not able to let go of completely. So I am picking up for some of you guys with the flame here that there still is maybe a past partner, a flame, maybe a first love, or somebody that is still kind of burning in the Phoenix's heart that they are not able to move forward from. And it's really not that the Phoenix person wants to, necessarily stay in this energy, but that they can't escape the fact that they have this, these vows that they've made, this commitment, this promise, or have this flame in their heart for a third party or an individual that's still kind of guiding them. Okay, so Phoenix person is probably aware of the vow that they made. Nightingale person is just aware that this is impacting the connection, that Phoenix person can't really move forward at this time, maybe because of this. Now I'm picking up that the Nightingale suspects that the Phoenix person is still hung up on an ex-partner, or didn't have to necessarily be marriage, but a committed relationship that the Phoenix person is now, not really communicating to the Nightingale, and the Nightingale person is wanting the Phoenix, and maybe that's part of the song, to tell him to, I keep saying him, but the Phoenix person, I'm picking up a very masculine energy here, but him or male or female, I mean, it's really non-gender, it's just a masculine energy I'm picking up here, but that the Phoenix person is, never mind my washer, so my washer bell just went off. That the Phoenix person is trying to repair, a broken heart, or move past the situation, and the Nightingale might have experience in that, but the Phoenix person isn't letting them say, hey, I've had a broken heart before, you can, move forward or try to heal, and the Phoenix person's kind of just shut them right out. Okay, so that was a pretty intense card there. And then the hidden trauma from past life or from existing life is this authority figure. So this could be really, anyone in your childhood that was an authority figure. So like a teacher, maybe a government figure, maybe your parents were very authoritative. But an authoritative figure that was very controlling and really just controlled every aspect of the Phoenix's past self, and now the Phoenix is kind of rebelling against authority figures as a whole, and it's really causing the Phoenix person to get triggered in such a way that if someone tries to tell them what to do, even if they're trying to help them, like the Nightingale, or have experienced the same type of situation, is trying to tell them, something they know better, Phoenix person is rebelling because it triggers this authority figure past trauma that they have, that they do not want to just abide. Now, for some of you guys, I'm picking up that this trauma trigger causes the opposite, that where the Phoenix person is just doing whatever it is that people in authority type figures now in their life tell them to do. They're very much prone to just abiding by the rules at any cost because of their fear of going against the authority figures or speaking out against it. But because they are, rising from the ashes, so to speak, I get that they are no longer, just kind of putting their head down and doing whatever these authority figures are saying. But it certainly is, for some of you guys, I'm picking up, is probably a relatively new trauma that's entered into the Phoenix's life with the authority figures. So it's probably not a trauma at this point, but something certainly will, something certainly did happen where in future the Phoenix person will rebel against any sort of controlling person or someone trying to tell them what it is, how to live their life, what to do. And that's kind of what the Nightingale person is giving off vibes to the Phoenix person. It's like, I don't want to even listen to what it is that you're telling me that I should try to do, right? It's just calling out. But I do sense that the Nightingale person is now just out of love and light, just kind of maybe keeping the Phoenix person company by singing a sweet song and not necessarily nagging. And I think the Phoenix person actually does really adore the Nightingale person and really likes that they're there singing and talking to them and helping them heal through the process, and not necessarily see them as an authority figure or someone who is controlling or demanding. Because like I said, the Nightingale person, when they speak, it's not a controlling type way, and they're not really telling them what it is that they need to do, but they're more unspokenly saying, I want you to just let go of that past pain and come, you know, move with me, let's go, or come on, pick it up, let's just get movement here, this way, my way, kind of, you know, come towards me. Whereas the Phoenix person's like, not now, I'm not doing anything, I'm not listening to anyone, I'm just doing what it is that I need to do to heal from my past. And then for the Nightingale individual, and I did say these might have to switch, nope, this is exactly as I pulled them earlier. We have the father and mother. So this is very interesting that we have both the father and mother, and this, you know, this deck has quite a few cards, but I'm just gonna move these up here. But so for what is visible to either the Nightingale or the Phoenix for the trauma for the Nightingale person is this father card, and this speaks to a father figure either in a past life or in your existing life, yours I'm saying, or this Nightingale person, that has caused trauma. So either, you know, a controlling father, or usually if a feminine does not have a great relationship with the father, it causes issues within a relationship or a connection. So it could be maybe needing more intimacy, maybe needing more affection. Maybe they're not sure how to show affection outside of maybe just being intimate, or, you know, being affectionate. And it's very difficult for the Nightingale person to get into relationships because of this dynamic with the father figure. So I'm getting the feeling that the Nightingale person is probably a little more aware of this than the Phoenix person, because the Phoenix person I don't think is very in tune with what's going on with the Nightingale at this time. So I don't think the Phoenix sees anything going on with the father figure, but I am picking up that the Nightingale just really is wanting an intimate connection, you know, wants to be really valued, but they're not quite sure how to be in a relationship because they have maybe their own mindset, which has never really been challenged. But the Nightingale person is well aware that this is something that may surface because they feel like they are wanting something from an individual that, you know, they might, well, they certainly are able to give to themselves, but in a connection, they're relying on this other individual to maybe feed that side or that desire for intimacy, and, you know, really try to fill a void in that part of their life. And then you have the hidden trauma from past life or existing life for the Nightingale person. So this is a trauma that neither of these two individuals are aware of, and we got mother. So it seems like the Nightingale had some, you know, some issues with both of their parents, but maybe the Nightingale person is blaming the father figure for a lot of it. I am actually picking up for some of you guys, you are now in tune with the mother complex. And yeah, for a lot of you guys actually, that this is something recently, maybe within the last year and a half, or within the last year, that you guys are aware of and trying to work through, or your person, if you're the Phoenix. The mother side is really this Nightingale person trying to be connected to their feminine side more, and be a little bit more sympathetic and a little bit more emotional. So I'm picking up from the father card that the Nightingale person wants to be emotional, wants to have intimacy and all this, but they kind of just jump to this part with a trusted, I guess, partner. They kind of don't really feel comfortable going through the mother energy, which is, you know, the normal steps, I guess, if normal, the common steps that one would within a relationship with, you know, showing compassion, kind of going to the aid of the other person to just for the sake of the other person. You know, they're kind of have their blinders on to what it is that they need from the people and their connection. But because this is mostly with this connection, you know, I'm sensing here that this, for the first time, maybe this Nightingale person was able to be a mother to the Phoenix person, which is actually not very common for this Nightingale person, because again, they are very much that person in power. I did get that dainty feminine, but that yin yang energy that I talked about earlier, that they have these two coexisting ways of being. They have a masculine, powerful side that, you know, that was hard for them to tap into their mother feminine side. So when they are doing their motherly energy with the Phoenix person, it is very healing for the Phoenix person, but it also makes the Nightingale person feel very, very good. And like I said, up until recently, I think the mother side or tapping into the feminine side was something that the Nightingale wasn't really aware of, that they had traumas that they kind of had to work through. And because it was in the hidden, I think for some of you guys, it's still something to be discovered, to tap into the feminine side. Okay, so then the last card here, Oracle card, for the connection, and then we'll get into tarot, is the Artist card. Now this card is supposed to be the life purpose for the connection. So more of the greater purpose of the two individuals coming together, if they are in full union or able to become a successful, I guess, couple at their highest peak, they are able to bring about to the earth or to this world this artist energy. So it says engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area to your life. So I think, like I mentioned, that the Nightingale person is very creative, but I also sense that the Phoenix person has a creative side as well, and it helps inspire the Nightingale person. So this artist comes out in both of them when they're together, and they get very creative. The Phoenix person really causes a lot of sparks for the Nightingale, and they're able to come up with creative ideas, and together they can bounce ideas off each other and really create some beautiful stuff. So artists can definitely be music, can be drawing, can be writing, can be, you know, really anything where you're using our artistic nature, creating jewelry, maybe, you know, I'm seeing here like plants or stones, that type of stuff. Just really getting in touch with the creative side. That is very beautiful. Okay, so we're going to get into the tarot for these individuals. So if this resonated with you, you can stick around for the tarot, because it's going to speak to where the connection is heading, and kind of a little bit about what's going on within that connection. Okay. So this is the Murder of Crows tarot. I absolutely love this deck. Okay, first card we got the Queen of Swords. We've got the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Cups. Ooh, 10, 10. We got the Page of Cups in reverse. And then we have the Star, Ill Dignified as well, so that's in reverse. Okay, so one major arcana, but starting off with the Queen of Swords is really a connection where I think intellectually these two, the Nightingale and the Phoenix person, are really bonding and on an intellectual level. It is really, I think, fulfilling for both of them to be able to really connect on an intelligence level, because I find that the Phoenix person is actually really, really intelligent and doesn't really get along with a lot of people. And you can see, I mean, the Queen, which I'm thinking is in this instance the Phoenix with the Nightingale, even though this is a crow, but the bird beside him, and kind of, again, I say him, beside the Queen, even though this is a feminine, this is a very masculine Phoenix energy that's that I'm sensing with the intellect. I feel like the Phoenix is really happy that they've met the Nightingale, because the Nightingale is able to understand and complement that side and articulate exactly what the Phoenix is thinking. It just kind of comes out of the Nightingale, because they do have a way with words and they are very able to communicate very gracefully. So before the Phoenix even says what it is that they're feeling, the Nightingale is out saying it already. So it's like very much a spiritual connection that they can kind of mind read each other. Then you've got the Ten of Pentacles here. Ten of Pentacles, I mean, speaks of, you know, abundance when it comes to material and just even physical wealth. You know, I sense here that the Phoenix person knows that if, see how the Queen of Swords is not looking at the crows, looking ahead, that if the Phoenix person listens to the Nightingale person, they know that it's going to transpire into the Ten of Pentacles, into wealth, and they're just not ready to go down that path right now, and they're not sure that they even want that for themselves. They're kind of really just stuck there, whereas the Nightingale is being very patient here, even though they are frustrated, as we saw, but they know the path to having that material wealth. And then you've got the Ten of Cups right beside it. So I mean, these two beautiful cards, you couldn't get any better than full emotional fulfillment and, you know, material abundance, really. And doesn't necessarily even have to be money. It could very well be just having, you know, health and happiness and all the things that you really want in a healthy life. And then the Cups obviously speaks of emotion, and you do though see this crow kind of looks like the Phoenix rising as well. So I'm thinking the Phoenix person is probably going to break out of whatever funk they're in and go towards this Nightingale person, is kind of what I'm picking up, because the Ten of Cups is such a desired state for the Phoenix person. They really want that emotional fulfillment, and it's definitely something that they've wanted for a very long time. And then when you look at the Page of Cups here, it speaks to that which the Phoenix person, represented here by the Queen of Swords, is kind of feeling. You know, it's upside down Page of Cups, which is the blockage. The Page of Cups doesn't want to start making that emotional offering to the Nightingale at this time. They're kind of blocked to say, I'm going to want to go down this path with you at this time. So there is some blockage there. I do feel with the Star also upside down, because the Star always speaks of hope, but because it is upside down, that the Phoenix person is really going through a hopeless type feeling, like things are not quite, they're not feeling ready. They don't have the energy. They don't have the full desire that they think they should have in order to move forward in this. They're just really emotionally exhausted. And I think because they're very intelligent, being exhausted is very tiring for them, because they are used to just, you know, obviously being inside their head and being able to use full power within their head. I'm also picking up for some of you guys, there might be like a child or kids or some form of a child that might need help or is acting out, or is, for the Phoenix person, maybe there's a child issue that's holding them back, that they've been preoccupied, or at least using that maybe as their reason to not move forward, but that's only for a very select few, and that was a very specific message. So, I mean, you can resonate with the Phoenix person or with the Nightingale here, but really what I see is that the Nightingale wants to, you know, share the 10 of Pentacles and 10 of Cups, and is kind of certain that that is their person, and they're hovering around and waiting around here for the Phoenix person to see the light. Now, I do pick up for some of you that the Nightingale is ready to take off and say, you know what, if you cannot decide, I'm not going to wait here because all of the abundance that I could be enjoying over here is being taken up by others, and I need to go, you know, fly, in this case fly, but go towards finding my own 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Cups without you, even though they don't want to. But you can see the Phoenix kind of coming in here, you know, and really lighten up the sky. So I'm expecting some pretty amazing things from this Phoenix person once they get out of their funk. Just looking at the Star card again, you can see, you know, the crow up here again with the, well, I guess in this deck, it looks like more of a masculine type wearing a mask. That could be a feminine type too, but, you know, this for a Star card, this doesn't really look very hopeful. Anyway, the person here is just spilling their cups out, and the bird is kind of just watching, I guess. In this case, even the Nightingale watching the Phoenix person wasting, or at least they think they're wasting this time, this energy into something they don't really need to. So that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up. But because it is in reverse, I'm also thinking that means that is changing slowly, that the Phoenix person is awakening, and maybe now feeling a little bit more hopeful than they have in the past, because it is in reverse and they're not wasting that energy as much. So that might actually be a positive thing rather than a negative card. Okay, so now that the tarot is done, we will move on to the second, I guess third part of this reading, which is just keywords to maybe just reassure you that maybe this is your person, or just keywords that might make sense to you in your connection. So we have dogs, so maybe one of you guys has a dog, or maybe you guys like dogs, or there's a funny story about a dog, or you know that the other person does not like dogs or is scared of dogs. But anyway, maybe someone lives on Dog Street. I'm also getting God, so we did see that the Phoenix person is maybe getting closer to God. It's just coming out dog because the Phoenix person's a little backwards right now, dramatic. So the relationship or connection I am picking up is all the dramas seems to be coming from the Nightingale by being very loud, but at the same time the Phoenix is the fireworks display, I guess, as they rise up, and the whole connection is one big dramatic display, even though if you ask either of them, both of them dislike drama. But it can also be drama class, like the Nightingale again likes to sing. I have a feeling that the Phoenix person is also very artistic and possibly into music, so maybe likes acting. One of these is really dramatic. When they speak, they get very articulate. They like using their hands, so dramatic might be something. And then healthy, so either the Phoenix person or the Nightingale is on a health kick, likes to get healthy. Maybe they take a lot of vitamins. Maybe they're thinking a lot more about their health because they feel they're getting older. They're just really trying to understand health. They see one of them gardening or having their own garden so that they can have their own food the way they kind of want it. So health, or maybe they even work at a health store, like a vitamin store, or they work with people to get healthy, or they're inspiring others to become healthy. I see one of them likes to go out running or jogging or walking, or hiking is another one, going on a bike. So there's definitely a healthy aspect to one or both of these individuals in their life where they're really focusing. I'm also picking up for the Nightingale person. They are wanting to focus more on their health because they've been giving a lot of their energy to this Phoenix person, and they've been feeling very not like themselves. So they want to get back to being healthy, mind, soul, and spirit, whereas the Phoenix person as well is working towards ascension and their higher self, and just trying to get out of this funk that they're in and work on their health. Okay, so those are key words. Now we're going to move on to messages from your person. Now this can either resonate with either you or your person, crisscross, if your higher self were to talk to your person, or their higher self talk to you, what they would say. So I have had a hard time processing my emotions. I think this is definitely the Phoenix person having a hard time processing and maybe sharing it with the Nightingale person. Let's dance. So like I said, I was picking up that there was a artistic dancer in the drama, maybe, someone who likes to dance a lot, or you guys like to dance together, or I'm seeing, maybe that's a saying, like, let's dance. That's really cute. Okay, I'm trying to contain my feelings, so pretty sure this is the Phoenix person again. So they feel like they have to contain their feelings in order to keep going in the path that they wanted to take. And because of that, authority figure that we were seeing in their past trauma, that the more the Nightingale person tries to persuade them to do something else, the more this Phoenix person is just going to try to contain their feelings, because they feel like they want to go down the path that they've already decided, and also because they have a hard time processing those emotions. And then it might be best if we part ways. So I think the Phoenix person goes back and forth between, it may be best if they just let the Nightingale person go, because the Nightingale person, they don't want to be unfair to the Nightingale person. So it would stand to reason that they're like, maybe you should, go do your own thing, because I don't want to hurt you. But the Nightingale, or the Phoenix person, I don't think would let that Nightingale person go. I think this is just how they're feeling inside. But I am sensing that the Nightingale person is feeling very frustrated, that they are now considering maybe it's best if we just part ways, because I can't say anything even though I see your pain. You're not letting me help you, or you're not listening to what it is that I'm trying to do to help heal or help break you free from this, because they feel as though they have a lot to contribute to this person. So they kind of feel helpless, and they've been in that state for a while, so they want to just focus on themselves for now, or at least they're very close to just going their own way and not be preoccupied with the Phoenix. And then can we go back to before? I think both parties want to go back to before, when there was a lot of, not so much emotion, but just when things were light, because it's just easier to deal with the emotions in that way. I see for a lot of you guys, there's been some very difficult conversations. For some of you, difficult conversations are probably needing to happen, and that it's right around the corner, and both individuals want to keep the peace. But I'm sensing the Phoenix person just wants to keep that Nightingale person in the state of, where the Nightingale person was there beside the Phoenix person while they're healing, and kind of stay in that state. But they know, obviously, realistically, that's not going to happen. But if they could have another day, rewind time, and go back to before, they get more time with the Nightingale person. And I think they might sense the Nightingale's person frustration a bit, but I don't think they're really fully aware of how frustrated that Nightingale person is getting, even though they see it. I don't think they fully get it. And it's not like they're angry at the Phoenix person. They totally understand, but they are very frustrated because it's like Spirit's telling you, like, if you had a glass of water here and someone's sitting, you know, beside you and they're like, oh, I'm so thirsty. And you're like, okay, here's some water. And they're like, no, well, I'm thirsty. It's like, well, nobody's drank this. Like, you can have this water. And the Phoenix person's like, no, I am going to go outside. I'm going to build a contraption where I can gather rainwater, filter it through a hose. And they're just doing this elaborate thing, whereas the Nightingale's like, listen, dude, glass of water. Right here, like, take it, you know, I'll bring it to you. In fact, the Nightingale person is, you know, all but extending this to the Phoenix person, and the Phoenix person's just like, I'm not taking your water. So I think some of it is pride, but the Phoenix person has to go through their own healing. Nobody can do that but the Phoenix person. So I can see why they are in that energy state. So hopefully my battery is not dying, because this has been a little long. But for timelines on this, I'm going to get, now if you want to pause and just really in your mind, maybe if you have a question for a timeline, like when will my person reach out if you're in no contact. I have a feeling that these individuals go through periods of maybe no contact, but they're together in spirit all the time. So if you have a question as to when will my person contact me, or when will we run into each other, or when will we move in together, or when will we, like, I can give you an idea of timeline. So I think for some of you guys, you guys don't really see each other very often, or not often enough. And it may be causing some frustration for the Nightingale person. But okay, so pause it and ask your question, and then we'll get an idea of timeline. Okay, so for an idea on timeline, we have here morning. So in the morning time is most likely, not could be tomorrow morning, but in the morning, more likely that your individual person will be more open or receptive to that idea, whatever it was that you asked. So if you said, will I hear from my person, most likely you'll hear from them in the morning. Just the morning time might be a little bit of a different energy for this connection. And then 1 month is your other timeline. So I'm recording now, it is June, so maybe beginning of July. I mean, this is a timeless reading, so 1 month from now, you know, from when you're watching this video, is what you're getting for an answer to your question. You know, I think some of you guys might have even asked, when is this Phoenix person gonna kind of be out of their funk? I think that's gonna take quite some time, but I am seeing that, you know, the next month is very pivotal in the connection. So that's what we have for timeline. And then we're gonna have a love and hope. So love is really what your person loves most about either you or the connection, or some strength that they see in you or the connection that's very appealing to them. And then the hope is an area that might be an area that is their least favorite about the connection or about you, maybe a quality trait that you have, or something about the connection that they're hesitant about. Okay, so we'll start with the I guess negative side, if you will, the area for improvement. So commitment issues. So interesting, because the Nightingale person is all but wanting to have this Phoenix person move forward, but the commitment issues we saw with the Father card and the Mother card, right? Both Father, Mother traumas cause these commitment issues. So it may have not resulted yet, where the Phoenix person or even the Nightingale person has identified that this Nightingale person definitely has commitment issues. And I think they're very deep rooted. So even though they might be open to connection, they may not let a lot of people in. And even if they let people in, or a lot of people in, they don't get to this deep level of real true commitment, and that will be something that this connection is going to have to work through. Now, again, I'm making the assumption that your person was the Phoenix person and that they don't like the Nightingale's commitment issues. But if your person was the Phoenix, person, or sorry, if your person was the Nightingale person, then your person, sorry, I'm getting confused. Okay, so these are messages coming from your person, what's going to hinder the connection. So whether they see it or don't see it currently, which again, if they're the Nightingale person, they might not see commitment issues in the Phoenix, but the Phoenix definitely has commitment issues, or the Phoenix doesn't see commitment issues in the Nightingale, but the Nightingale certainly has commitment issues. So I do see, though, that both these individuals have commitment issues. So it could very well be a card saying that, hey, both of you guys have issues. You're just maybe showing them in a different way. And the fact that I got confused with the two, I think it's certainly both individuals' commitment issues. It was just reinforced by the trauma cards here with mother and father with the Nightingale, and then with the authority figure, certainly there as well for the Phoenix person. Okay, so values came up as a quality of this connection or the individual that your person likes about you. So whether the person's the Nightingale or your person is the Phoenix person, they like values. So you're either brought up with a good sense of values, or that you guys have the same types of values, or that you guys show your values in the similar way. But this is a trait that your individual is seeing as the positive of this connection. And I'm sure there's many others, but I pull just one, or the most likely trait that your person is liking about the connection. And we're going to end it off with a song card that's going to speak to the connection at this time. So we got Let It Go by James Bay. So you can take it literally by, just both parties, just let it go. But I do think Nightingale is telling the Phoenix to kind of let go of that pain, even though they are the rising Phoenix, to kind of let it go. And now I think Nightingale is also telling themselves to just let it go and move on with themselves until the Phoenix person is ready and healed. But maybe you should go check out this song, and we will get into pile 2. Hi, pile 2. If you picked the purple pointed tower amethyst and I think this is hematite cylinder, pile 2, this reading is for you. So like I was explaining to pile 1, if you didn't hear the intro, we're going to pick up the energies of both individuals involved, and you will resonate with either one side or the other side. And the side that you resonate with will mean that your person is on the other side. Now, if it doesn't sound like your person, but sounds more like somebody else that you know, could be a message from another individual coming through for you that you're meant to listen to. But if none of it is resonating, then you can move on to pile 1, or you can just move on to another card reading altogether. You may very well resonate with both sides as you and your person mirror each other, which is totally fine, but you will resonate more with one side than the other, and just assume that the other side is your person. Okay. So we're going to get into past traumas that are impacting the connection, either known or unknown from past lives or existing lifetime. And we're going to get into how your person sees you and thinks you're feeling and how you're actually feeling, and your person's hidden traumas, known to them or unknown to them from either this lifetime or another. And then we'll do some tarot cards and we'll read some messages from your person. I did forget to do charms, so I'm going to have to remember to do your charms at the end of this reading, but that's the tarot we'll see for later. Okay, so for this reading, we have on one side the fire ant, and on the other side, we have the bear. Okay. Oh, so I did pre-shuffle these cards earlier, and I was getting a very strong energy from the bear. I'll get to the bear in a bit, but the fire ant energy of this person is they're very orderly, but they're also very much high energy person. They have a lot going on. I'm even picking up maybe ADHD, but they're very hyper. They have lots of things like going on, but they're very much orderly in how they go about things. So they might have a system, or they might have a way that about doing things that they follow, so routine or whatever, but they are a lot all over the place, you know, in their mind. And when they're speaking, they could tell a story and get from one story to another and tell like 3 stories in like one story. But they are very high energy, and they are very much a very dedicated type personality. If they say they're going to do something, they're most likely going to get it done. And they are also a fighter. They're able to get a lot done, very determined, and yeah, so they're very determined. Whereas the bear person I'm getting is very calming to the ant person. I don't know. I don't think that the fire ant person is as irritating as they think they are to the bear person because of how they are. And the bear person is very still and very calm and very collected and just very slow compared to the fire ant. I do see though that the bear is looking the other way, so they kind of turn a blind eye maybe to the franticness of the fire ant person, and that's how they're able to kind of coexist, because they are just kind of, you know, they're doing their own thing. Now you do get earth energy, so you have Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. And with the fire sign, you have Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius coming through here. So the bear person, which is really funny because when I recorded the piles, I was commenting. I think I re-recorded, but initially when I recorded, I made a comment that this stone was very heavy, even though I meant to say the stone was very light. So I automatically thought of this bear. So I think that even though a bear is quite heavy, I think the energy of the bear is quite light. And maybe it's because they are an earth sign, so they're fairly practical. You know, they're very grounded for sure, but they aren't very heavy. They just have a very soft way of being with them. They're very gentle. Obviously, if you poke the bear can certainly get agitated and annoyed. Don't really see that they are very annoyed by the fire ant person at this time. Maybe because they're distracted, but the fire ant seems to be maybe trying to get the attention of the bear, and the bear is just kind of like, yeah, I'm just gonna whatever, just kind of chill here. Not that they're well, I do get the sense for some of you that the bear is completely ignoring the fire ant. I don't think that they don't like them, they're just not doing anything to acknowledge the fire ant right now. And it doesn't even look like they're entertaining anything else. They're just showing non-interest, but we'll get into how they're really feeling. But this is kind of what I'm picking up on the surface of these two individuals. Oh, we won't do that card yet. So for the fire ant and how they're feeling right now is rest. So it's funny because fire ant, like I said, is really crazy as far as energy, and I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if they have, you know, ADD or ADHD, or, you know, or maybe they're just constantly in their head and have a lot of thoughts. But the rest coming out for an energy that the fire ant is feeling speaks to, I don't think the fire ant is feeling like their usual self. I think that the fire ant is going through a period where they're kind of Four of Swords reflecting, maybe even hermit mode, but they're just at a state of taking a break right now from everything that's going on in their lives. They want to just rest from it all because they are tired. I have a feeling some of this might have to do with the fact that they were trying to get the bear's attention, and the bear just wasn't looking either which way. So now the fire ant's like, well, I'm just going to take a pause here, a short break. So they just feel like they're in this resting Four of Swords type energy, or hermit energy. It is interesting now. I'm noticing that the fire ant has in the center of this card, you know, the yellow circle in the middle, and that on top of the bear you got the sun, which is also reflected here with, you know, the starburst of the ant, and then you got the starburst of the sun. So it's almost like the ant is has a higher perspective than the bear, or more in tune with their higher self. And the bear is kind of, like I said, is very grounded, but I don't think the bear is in tune with their higher self yet. And I think this might cause some frustration for the fire ant, because the fire ant is very well aware of their higher self and the divine and very spiritual, whereas the bear is probably not even interested or concerned with any of that at this time. But it is reflected in the bear card, so it may be something that comes up later in tarot. So okay, the next card, which one should we do? Oh, we'll say, oh, I guess that one flipped very easily. So this shows what the bear thinks the fire ant is feeling at this time. So the bear thinks that the fire ant is feeling faith. So I think because the bear, I don't think the bear has gone through the effort of really fully understanding this fire ant, but I think that the bear just assumes that this fire ant is the type of person that just goes through life kind of blindly and having faith that things will just turn out, that they not that they're not really putting in an effort, because the ant person is definitely a type of person that puts in a lot of work and effort, but I don't think the bear fully sees that. The bear just makes this assumption that the fire ant is solely just getting by or successful because they have faith in you know, either a divine being, or just they have this blind faith that kind of helps them go through. But I think that kind of pisses off this fire ant, because the fire ant has definitely you know, worked very diligently in order to get to kind of where they're at. So okay, the bear is feeling passion. Now, very interesting, we got this passion card when I said the bear's kind of not interested in looking. So I'm very curious to see what the tarot shows. But I think when the bear tunes into their higher self, this passion comes out. And I think the fire ant definitely knows, now you see there, knows that there's something in the bear that's going to spark this passion. But the bear isn't even, the bear's just the bear. They're not even receptive to that. So the fire ant's like trying to wake up this bear, or at least they can't really do anything because they're not even in their peripheral. I don't even think that the bear knows that well, they know you exist, or I'm assuming viewers that you guys are the fire ant, and I bet a lot of you guys are the fire ant personality, but you very well may be the bear person. But I don't think the bear person is as in tune with this fire ant, and that there's all this stuff going on with how the ant maybe feels about the bear person. But the bear person definitely has a passion inside them that is constant, but they're not aware or tapped into this passionate part of themselves in the way that is going to progress the bear person forward. So that's interesting that this one came up as their current state, or what they're currently feeling. And I'm going to tuck that underneath here. Okay, and then this card speaks to how the fire ant thinks the bear person is feeling. So we got flow, which is a little bit similar to how the bear sees the fire ant, but faith, like that the fire ant's just kind of, faith. The fire ant thinks the bear is just kind of flowing through, in his bear type ways through life, that he's just very adaptable, but just kind of going through day at a time as life kind of comes to them. They're not really getting into touch with their spiritual side. Again, this is the fire ant thinking the bear. They're not really, the bear's traveling, the bear's doing things, getting groceries, talking to neighbors, walking through, doing stuff, and just flowing through life, but they're not really tapping into this fiery passion. And the fire ant sees this, and it's kind of infuriating for this fire ant, because they know that there's so much more potential for this bear, but the bear is just like flowing through life and nothing really seems difficult. And I think the bear likes it this way, because the bear doesn't want to, well, I don't say the bear doesn't want to, but the bear isn't even aware. The bear isn't aware that they're not open to the passion, and that they are just kind of flowing through living life right now. I also just picked up that the bear is also quite young, or at least younger than the fire ant person, and the fire ant person's older. So the bear hasn't really been around long enough to know, and the bear is kind of being aloof to everything, and they are just kind of doing life motions at this point. Okay, so the next card we have here is how the bear sees the fire ant. And we got elk. So it says, stand tall, maintain your dignity no matter what, and others will treat you with the respect you deserve. So the bear is actually aware that this elk person has been, not through the ringer, but they've been shot at, or this elk's been speared at, or this elk has been, in a state where they've had it really tough, but they managed to pull through and be strong and stand on all fours on their own, have their dignity. I'm really picking up that this fire ant, again, would probably be most of my viewers here, but is more of a feminine energy, maybe like a single mom, or a single partner. Again, mom could be a single father, but I'm picking up a feminine energy. Someone who's really been down and out, but was able to make it on their own, through their faith for sure, but not throughout some, without putting quite a bit of their own effort and their energy, because they are a very hard worker, and they're very dedicated to putting their efforts forward for their family or their kids, even themselves. I'm sensing right now that they're really learning to just be independent on their own. They're very dependent on having others either around them, or they like that. They like being, that there's others that can help them with either career or help them establish themselves, but yet they've been successful doing it alone and going alone. So don't necessarily like people per se, but they do like a support system. They do want a partner. They do want having that extra load taken off of them, or someone to kind of help them with the extra load. They're just kind of, they're just kind of there trying to get on all fours and make it another day. I'm picking up that this fire ant person is very tired. you know, which, I mean, they're represented by the fire ants, and ants are usually pretty, like I say, ADHD, but in this reading, this ant is kind of, it's moving slower than normal. I think they're probably have been wounded or feeling like they're trying to repair a wound of sorts. And then for the, well, this was how the bear sees the elk. So I think that bear is aware that this elk person is, that the fire ant person is kind of made it from the bottom to the top, or aware that this person is a single parent that's able to kind of get through life. They're very aware of that. Now, this is what the fire ant is seeing, how the fire ant seeing the bear. So we got the grouse. So the fire ant sees the bear as the grouse, which says express yourself through rhythm and movement by drumming and dancing. So when I hear that, it's like drumming, you know, to, or living your life to the beat of your own drum. So I think because the bear is this younger person, maybe the fire ant's like wanting this bear to express themselves a little bit better, to kind of break the mold. And then it says here, obviously, they're drumming and dancing, so kind of go to the beat of their own drum, not just to kind of do what every other bear person or person is doing, to kind of break out of that and show their creative side through maybe tapping into their higher self. But the fire ant definitely sees that the, you know, the bear as a creative individual that's able to have this potential. Now, I think that the fire ant doesn't quite see the bear doing this, but the fire ant knows that the bear has this potential to be able to go through life again in a unique way that's going to be specific to this bear. But I don't think the bear sees their potential fully, and this is making the fire ant a little bit nutty, even though they do see this in the bear. Definitely bear potential. And I would have to agree with the fire ant that this bear does have this growth potential, that they're able to be creative the way they are, but there's so much more that this bear person can do with their creative talents if they just, you know, learn to tap into their higher self and spirit. Okay, so now we're getting into the traumas of either the past life or existing life that are hindering or coming up in this connection. So on this side, we have hidden traumas that are not known to either the fire ant or the bear for the fire ant, and then trauma that's known by either the fire ant or the bear that the fire ant has. So unknown is this leaving or travel. So like I mentioned, it could be a past life or existing in this lifetime that's caused trauma, where the fire ant has had maybe a past life where they always had to leave their family behind. They had a job where they had to travel a lot, or maybe in the past they've had a job where they had to travel a lot, or they were uprooted as a child many times, so they weren't able to build that stability because they're always kind of leaving, or like a nomad going from place to place to place, which is interesting because of all these ants and having this structured society of worker ants kind of all around them. You know, the fire ant wants to feel that interconnection to society and feel that stability because they have had this trauma. So I think because this is not really known to the fire ant as a trauma, so they might have known that they moved a lot as a child, or that you know, they had a job where they had to travel a lot, but they are not realizing or recognizing that this is actually more traumatic to them in this connection than they realize. And this might be something that hasn't come up yet, or will once these two, I'm getting the sense this is still at a very, very, very early state, and that the fire ant and the bear haven't really even, they're not even discussing having a connection so much per se, but they're aware of each other. But this leaving or travel is something that will impact this connection once the connection's going. And for those of you guys who are in a connection right now, I think the bear is really closed off to what's going on with this fire ant person, and this leave or travel might be something in your past where you had to leave or work and leave the bear alone for a long time. So the bear is kind of not aware that this is, causing this trauma, but is definitely aware that they might have not, sensed you around at all the times that they needed you. But that's very specific for only, I think, maybe a small percent of you. But yeah, so the next card we see here is finances. So this is a known trauma for the fire ant that either the bear or the fire ant is aware of in this connection. So the fire ant does not have, comes from a place where either in their past life or existing life where they didn't have a lot of financial wealth, and it is impacting how the fire ant is able to live their life now. So they might be a little more clingy to stuff than they like to be, or just they know the value of stuff because they didn't have much when they were growing up. But they're definitely struggling when it comes to feeling like they're worthy or can keep up with people who are maybe more of a wealthy class. So it does cause this trauma between the fire ant and the bear, because the at one point this relationship, the fire ant is going to have to oh my goodness. Hey guys, okay, sorry about that. My daughter came home and it totally scared me. I was getting in the channeling mode and I heard a knock on the door. So, okay, we were getting into the traumas for the bear person, and we'll start with the hidden trauma that is either from past life or existing life that is unknown to both the bear and the fire ant that is on the bear side. So you have Egypt. So Egypt is known to be a very spiritual country. There's obviously a connection in a past life or existing life to the bear to Egypt. So this spiritual place is calling to this bear. Now we did mention earlier that the bear isn't really in tune. So I think that the part of the trauma is that this bear isn't even aware and has been separated from their spiritual self or their calling, and it's causing a divide between their higher self and the 3D world of how the bear is living. But Egypt is definitely connected to this bear somehow. And so I guess when this card comes up, it's actually maybe suggesting or hinting that the bear might want to travel to Egypt or to a place where they can get in tune with their higher self and feel, the vibe of an old country, so that they can be awakened to their higher self. And then the other trauma, either from past life or existing in the bear's existence, and it's known by the fire ant or the bear, is this high priest or priestess. So the bear person has this trauma past. Now this connects very good with Egypt too, of the high priest or priestess, where they were spiritually in tune with the higher self, with the divine. They had a relationship with the divine. These two go very well together. That's kind of lost. That's kind of not really there. It's really blocked right now for the bear, and this is part of the reason why this connection probably isn't even moving forward at this time, or at least I feel like it's stuck. And if you are in a connection, then it's not really at its full potential, because the fire ant realizes or recognizes that the high priestess trauma, which is really knowing the bear's full potential and passion, would ignite if they were in touch with their spiritual or higher self. So potentially, you know, when the bear travels somewhere like Egypt, it would awaken their spirituality for them to get in tune with that side of themselves. Okay, so now the connecting card here is the life purpose card, but it's really what these two individuals, if they were in union or if they were together, what their, I guess, what they would bring to the world or offer to the world as a couple and what they'd contribute. And we got this nutrition. So it says you conduct healing work with your culinary skills. So culinary skills, I mean, it certainly could mean, you know, opening a restaurant together, or, you know, cooking for others, or having a catering business, or even anything someone digests. So if, you know, you can make something out of plants, teas perhaps. Really, these two individuals, I feel, are very like health freaks almost. They get right into, you know, healthy eating, maybe helping people with their nutrition, maybe running like a health shop or something like that, where, you know, they both can connect with each other in this vibe of really being healthy with food and teaching other people how to be healthy for themselves and pick the right stuff to ingest. So yeah, I think that's really beautiful that, you know, both these individuals, you know, take health. I think the fire ant realizes a big part of health is also being in tune with the higher self spiritually, which is also a part of this health path. And until the bear can go down that path, even though they're healthy, you know, in a physical 3D world, they probably take vitamins or work out. I'm getting the sense that this bear person is very fit, you know, has a very good physique. They're off balance because they're not in tune with their higher self. So this shared goal, I guess, or I guess potential within this connection can't really be realized until both parties are balanced together to be able to offer that to the world. Okay, so we're gonna go to do the tarot for this pile. And see how the connection is doing, or where it's going. Okay, so we have the High Priestess, Page of Wands, Eight of Cups, ill-dignified, the Queen of Pentacles also in reverse, and the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so the High Priestess, I believe this is representing the fire ant, but it also represents the hidden aspect of the bear that the bear is needing to tap into. Now, a very good positive energy I'm picking up is that the bear is actually going to be inspired by something that the fire ant does or says or offers, or conversation that makes the bear person, now this is a little unclear to me, so it's still yet, jury's still out yet, but either the bear is going to be now more in tune with their higher self and start that path, or they're going to extend an offer and be ignited to extend an offer to the fire ant to do something with them. But I'm picking up mostly that the fire ant has to ignite the bear's higher self first before the bear actually makes an offer to the fire ant, which is represented by the High Priestess. So I think they're one and the same, and we're kind of splitting hairs at this point, because I think once the bear comes to terms with their higher self, then the bear will definitely open up to their higher self, and we'll see the value in the fire ant. Not that the bear doesn't see value in the fire ant, but right now the bear is just kind of doing its bear stuff, and it's aloof, and it's not anywhere awakened to it. So I think once the bear awakens to it, then he's ready to move forward with the high priestess and take the first few steps. And why this is, why I'm seeing this positive is because the Eight of Cups energy is in reverse. So I think that, obviously the Eight of Cups would be walking away from something that no longer serves you. I think the bear blockage is going to be released, and the Page of Wands isn't even looking at what's going on here. It's looking forward to the High Priestess. So I think that this blockage with the being in tune with their higher self is going to come to a pass soon, because they will be inspired to move forward. And in this Eight of Cups, you'll see that, all the cups are overflowing into the other cups, but you see like broken hearts kind of all behind it, and the fact that it's reversed. I think the Page of Wands is honing all their energy, is kind of recuperating all their energy in order to, take that first step. And then the Queen of Pentacles does speak to, because it's in reverse, someone who is really materialistically attached to things. So I think the bear is still very much doing things that, I say typical successful person would do, right? They wake up, they go to work, they have good money, they probably have a good house, or have a nice car, all of that stuff. And this bear person is still very attached to having that type of a lifestyle, that they're not even really aware or showing interest in this other happiness that they can have with their higher spiritual self. But they will soon be inspired by a conversation. Now, I am picking up for some of you that the bear person is going to be the one, actually for most of you, the bear is going to be the one that starts the conversation, but the conversation is started by the bear, but not necessarily the topic. But the more that the bear talks to the fire ant, then the fire ant says something or does something that inspires this bear to kind of open up and take a look. So Five of Pentacles, speaks to someone feeling like they're left out in the cold. It's certainly the bear person that's feeling this way because they are closed off to this higher self, like deep down inside, even though they're not showing that they're upset or out in the cold or, feeling down and out. They're not really outwardly showing it, but they're certainly unhappy deep down inside, because they can't possibly just hang on to material things. And I don't even think this person is in a relationship, to be honest. For some of you, he's probably just a single person who kind of goes around, and I don't mean sleeps around, maybe some, but they're not really in a relationship. They're kind of just really doing their own thing and really aloof to what's going on. So they don't even have a deep love. For some of them, maybe they had a relationship that was pretty superficial, but they did get a broken heart and they're trying to repair from it. So now they're just not even interested in doing any of that, and maybe that's why they're not even looking at the fire ant. But deep down, they're not happy. And we know that the fire ant person obviously also feels down out in the cold, because this bear person isn't even letting them in, even though this bear person would make the fire ant feel the comfort, the security that fire ant wants, the stability, because we had that trauma of travel, that nomad feeling where the fire ant just wants a secure, stable protector in the fire ant's life. So I think the fire ant is feeling a little Five of Pentacles as well, but this upside down Queen of Pentacles is that that block that bear is having when it comes to hanging on to material things and really where the value is in life. So that is the tarot. We'll go on to the third part of this reading, which is keywords that will resonate with this connection, either something that you discuss with your person or just a word that kind of triggers something within this connection. So we have dance. This is funny because we had let's dance. Something about dancing came up in pile 1, so you might want to go check out pile 1 as well. Plus there was like drama and someone loved to dance in that one. So maybe dancing is a value. Maybe you guys met at a dance. Maybe you'd like to dance with this person. Maybe you picture your person dancing because of their body. Because again, the bear person I mentioned has a very nice physique. So dance is certainly important. I'm also picking up like 80s dance routine. I don't know if that's important to somebody there, but 80s music or dance. So journey. So I mentioned that the bear person might like to travel, but I also sense that journey because of the trauma with the fire ant moving from place to place to place. Their life's kind of a little bit of a journey because they've had a lot of ups and downs and throughout their life. So more a spiritual journey as well for the fire ant, whereas the bear is more of a traveler, and this might just mean their journey. And also to ascend to their higher self would be a journey. Journey is also an 80s band, so I find that pretty funny. Travel. That is very interesting. So bear, like I said, likes to travel, is probably, I don't even know if the bear likes to travel. I think the bear is getting very bored of travel, to be honest. I don't think anything's really impressing this bear. This bear is just in a grumpy mood. Like, bear, why are you so grumpy? I don't understand. But, you know, the traveling that maybe they once enjoyed is not the same. I do sense that they travel alone as well, so it could be very lonely. They might be just getting, you know, running away from their self. I don't think they realize that that's what they're doing, but just kind of going with the flow of life, doing this travel. Or it could even be that the bear and fire ant like to travel together. Maybe you met when you guys were traveling. Maybe one of you guys works at a travel agency. Maybe one of you guys has a dream of traveling somewhere. We did get Egypt as a card, so again, it suggested maybe that the bear had connection to Egypt, but could be just traveling to your birth origin place might help. I think it would help both parties, but mostly the bear to get in tune with their higher self and have this spiritual journey extension that they need to wake up. So now we have messages from the higher self of your person. So these messages can resonate for what they're trying to tell you, or maybe what you want to tell your person, and they can work both ways. I can't get out of my comfort zone. So I think this speaks to the bear. The bear is used to what the bear does, and it's very hard for the bear to do anything different at this point. It's not that it's hard. The bear isn't even wanting to change because the bear feels there's really no reason. Even the fire ant, I feel like I said, is very structured, even though they have ADD or some sort of, I don't even want to label anyone with ADD, so I don't want any comments, people getting triggered because I said that, but really all these thoughts going through the fire ant's mind that all at once, but yet the fire ant is still very structured in the way that they do things. So I think this can't get out of my comfort zone. The fire ant, maybe this is a message for the fire ant to maybe not be so structured and routine in the ways that the fire ant does things, and be a little bit more open, more in the flow to life, and to kind of let things flow a little bit better. I think you're funny, so maybe one of you thinks the other dance is funny because dance came up, but I think you're funny. Maybe when you guys do talk, you guys are laughing. One of you thinks the other one is funny, so maybe even going to like taking them out to comedy place might be a good idea. I want you to move closer to me. So there might be some distance between you two. Maybe this is why one or both of you is turning away from this connection at this time, because there is some distance, and you know, there is desire to be closer together. Or I'm also picking up for some of you that the bear and the fire ant, I guess, were closer at one point, and that one of you guys kind of moved away and is further away. So that or maybe because the bear traveled so much that it's like the bear's never really there, that the fire ant wants the bear to move closer, or vice versa. Please message or call me. So I feel like the fire ant is just always kind of in that state of wanting the bear to say something, because the bear knows that the fire ant exists. So I'm also picking up that either the fire ant works with the bear, or the bear is in a different part of the building, or is connected through a business somehow, but is aware of the fire ant. And the fire ant just wants the bear to just send a message or call about something so that they can talk to them or hear their voice. And then I am so attracted to you. I definitely feel this is the fire ant feeling the fire there for the bear person. Now, I do really feel as though once the bear person opens up to their higher self, which will be triggered by the fire ant, the attraction to the fire ant will be almost immediate, because of the fact that they don't get very much respect for the fire ant for opening that insight into the bear's life, and pushing the bear towards that will really, and not really push, because you don't really push a bear, but inspiring them, I guess would be the right way, into getting more connected with spirit, is something so blessed that the bear will be so grateful to the fire ant and want to show appreciation to the fire ant and be very attracted to the fire ant. Not that the bear isn't right now, it's just the bear is not even considering it. So I'm thinking that maybe it's inappropriate at this point, because the bear feels there's maybe a level of authority between you and the bear, or that it's not appropriate. So they're not even entertaining or considering that at this point in time. We have some timelines here, and like I asked the other pile, you might want to pause and think of a question for the timeline. Like if you're the fire ant, you might want to say, okay, when will the bear start getting in tune with their higher self? Or when's the next time I'll see the fire ant person? So you can ask your question, and then I'll give you an idea of timeline. Okay, so first thing is earlier than later. So I have a feeling that the fire ant's probably just given up on the bear, but Spirit's saying that the bear most likely is going to get triggered into this earlier rather than later. It's not as distant in the future as maybe the fire ant thinks it is. But again, this is just to your question, earlier rather than later. So maybe you have a timeline in mind, but something's going to happen where it unexpectedly triggers something to transpire sooner than the timeline you have. And then we have here summer. So I mean, we're not quite summer yet, but we're in the month of summer. So it could very well be something that transpires this month. This is timeless again. So maybe when you're watching, it isn't summer, but summer month might be a time where, is important, where you guys start this connection kind of on the same page. But this is to answer whatever question that you might have had. If you did pause and ask the question, then summer is your answer, and earlier than later for timeline. So we also have hope and love. So the love card is going to be what your person likes most about the connection, or about you, your personality or your character. And then the hope card is what your person least likes about the connection, or about you, a trait or something that's kind of I guess an area of improvement. So hilarious. So funny came up, so clearly you're most likely the funny one, or maybe you sent them funny things. I'm seeing maybe you sent them a message or several messages with jokes or a funny story, or told a funny story, or you always have a funny thing to share with this person. So I think this person appreciates that you are hilarious. Obviously they do, because that came out. And then for the area of improvement, we got conceited. So I think maybe the bear or the fire ant, but I'm pretty certain the bear is your person, is feeling like the fire ant person, because they made it as far as they did as a single parent, or like we were saying, they were wounded, or they were like from nothing, and they kind of were able to stand on all fours or make it somewhere, that the bear just assumes that the fire ant is conceited, or that the fire ant is, you know, giving off this vibe. And now if it's the fire ant thinking the bear, I think the fire ant definitely thinks that, and I'd say this probably resonates with most of you guys, that the fire ant thinks that the bear is very conceited, because the bear is traveling and, you know, has this healthy physique and is going around and is kind of, you know, just not interested in anything and giving off this conceited type aura about them, that the fire ant is now not really even finding attractive anymore in this bear person. And then to end this part, before we get into charms, for a song that would represent this connection at this time, is In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins. So you might want to listen to that for more messages. That's kind of cool. So we're going to pull some charms. And I forgot to do this for pile 1. And kind of feel bad now, but maybe you'll get twice the charms. Some more. And okay. So we do have a broken piece here, and this was, I believe, a cactus, but it's broken. So maybe somehow maybe the bear person was planning a trip, or someone was planning a trip somewhere to a dry place like Nevada or somewhere where there's cactuses, and the trip may get canceled. But anyway, that was a cactus piece that's broken. So we do have more tarot cards here. And I don't know if you guys can see that, so I will put that on there so you can see. And some letters. So we have S, U, D, A, W, could be M, but Suda, Saw, sad, I'm sure the fire ant's a little sad, was, maybe I was waiting and now I'm not no more, I was there, but now I'm no longer. Yeah, so I don't know, these could be initials for your person or yourself. Maybe September or August is important. I'm hearing David. I'm hearing Walter. Could be a parent figure, maybe named David or Walter. And I'm also picking up that one of you guys is really have a interesting story about your father figure. Either your dad is a very unique individual, or was famous but very profound individual. So we have 3 and 2, 32 or 23, or the number 5. You know, maybe March is important or February is important. And then we have the safety pin. So the safety pin here, I mean, it kind of reminds me of a pin that goes on a baby's diaper. So maybe one of you guys is acting like a big baby, but I'd say maybe this is just showing how, you know, this relationship would be held together by something that connects you guys together. I'm thinking of spirituality would be the safety pin that kind of helps save or move this connection forward. But yeah, this is like securing something together. Then you have balloons here, so party or celebration. Maybe someone's birthday party is coming up. And then you have the plane, which is representing the travel again. And I think the travel is something that needs to happen for that bear person in order for them to get a little more in tune with their higher self. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, the travel piece which came up, but I think Spirit's really wanting that bear person to go to their home country, whether they have or haven't. There's something maybe that's going to help propel this connection forward. Now with the tarot here, we have the 4 of Wands, 7 of Wands, and the 3 of Wands, and then we have the 8 of Wands in reverse. So lots of wands, definitely. You know, there's a lot of inspiration. I think both these parties can inspire each other. Both really want a stable foundation. I think the fire ant is really desiring this for themselves, and I think the bear, once they tap into their higher self, they'll certainly be wanting that that as well for themselves. Now, I do see that the bear, you know, is trying to just kind of do what it does best. But I feel like if the fire ant tries to push the bear too much, that the bear is going to get very defensive in what it is that they do. Because I think on an intuitive level, the bear knows that they aren't happy and that they're neglecting this part of themselves. For a reason, because we did see the trauma part that the bear had with the high priestess and the Egypt. So they know that tapping into that is going to open up a part of them that maybe they're not really ready to face. But once they are able to tap into this, you know, and really take a look at the potential of themselves, it will really give them the freedom to have this 4 of Wands stability and happiness, true happiness. I think there is some distance, like I mentioned, between you both that might be keeping you guys from talking or from seeing each other, and that the 8 of Wands reverses delays. So I think there is delays in some travel as well. Maybe your person was expected to fly. Maybe you were expected to travel, but something broke. But there is delays.